ashamed? Why are you afraid of us telling you the truth? If I have visited a facility and they did not take good care of me, they did not provide good service to me, are you telling me that I should hide it? Are we afraid of telling the truth? And I want to state that this is not peculiar to one or two facilities. It is across the nation. And bureaucracy in our health system is not helping. Politically, politicians have their own share of responsibility to deliver for the country. Have they delivered their part? The administrators of the facilities, have they done their part? These are the critical questions. When you go to the facilities, the facility managers, they are not bold enough to tell us the state of the facility. And they are there sitting on the issues. Remember, these days, when a media man wants to go for need information, they tell you, write a letter. Since when has it become so? So when I'm coming to search for information, I should tell you that I want it. Which country are we in? It's like we have become comedians in the country. We don't want to be truthful to ourselves. And the people, majority of the people are suffering. You go to a facility, a doctor, a nurse, instead of paying attention to the patient, they are not doing so. The logistics for the facilities are not there. Health facilities are very in poor state. We are not tackling these things. And we are saying that we shouldn't mention names. Go to the civilian hospital, go to municipal hospital, everywhere. It's not good.
Thank you. Thank you, Mejina, for your call. You cannot mention names of hospitals because we cannot verify what you're saying live on TV at this time. But the hospital, which is the reason all of this, these conversations have started, we could see, video evidence, all right? But you just calling to say something which is potentially damaging would need an opportunity to be able to verify it. And so if we cannot verify it, we cannot allow you to mention names of hospitals when we could, potentially damage their reputation. All right. Alaji
Bini says I should tell you people that he's trying to call, but the call is not connecting. So whoever is sitting on the line should release the line. But then he says, good morning, Cookie. My greetings to you, Roland, Na, and Shemima Muslim. And I just want to tell you that Shemima is #1, but Cookie T is the best. What's the meaning of that?
Well, there's a special relationship between you, Alaji, and Shemima. So I think we should just accept it.
#1, but Cookie T is the best.
Let's just accept it like that. And let it be.
In polygamy, what can you break it down?
Are you polygamous?
He's a man.
Oh, he's potentially polygamous.
That's too many questions for a short period.
I can't believe that. I think there's another call on the line.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay. Kinrak has a very long message here, but let's try and read it. Cookie, you look more beautiful. Hey, more beautiful this morning. So yesterday I wasn't looking beautiful.
More beautiful than yesterday, he means.
Okay, that's the meaning of the English.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Ghana's health system is being politicized, which is very bad. Our system in Ghana, too, is not helping in a sense that the unemployment rate is too high and some health professionals get into the profession without a choice. So you will go and the nurses and doctors sometimes are on their phones, WhatsApping without working as their slogan, your health is our concern. The system is corrupt. Okay, Kinrak, thank you for your compliment. I've just read your message. Let's see how many more we can read. Brave Pascal Tonu says, the problem about Ghana is there are no complaints receiving portals to send complaints to, even if the service is not good. And even if it's there, they are not relevant. So you would only waste your time complaining to the same institutions about their problems. It cuts across many government institutions, not only about the hospitals. All right. Yakubu Iliasu says, good morning to all of you. Please, I want to find out from Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health, do they really monitor our health facilities? Because I went to a certain facility where I had to literally pay for everything even though I had a health insurance card. Is it the case that our NHIS cards are no longer helpful? Most facilities are taking undue advantage of parents. Yakubu from Garu sent in that one. Sherry Giovanni, it's been some time. How are you, darling? Well, she says, good morning, Ghana's Good morning, Ghana's Michelle Obama. Ish, thank you. I went to a health center where the nurse was to inject me through the veins on my wrist. Anytime she tries, the medicine will splash. She became so sweaty after several attempts. It took one male nurse to intervene. Another one injected me on my Botox, and it became swollen, and I had to return to the facility after 2 days. Wow. I get worried anytime I visit any health facility, and it's a female nurse who's to attend to me. I think the nurses need continuous professional development. Okay, Botox. All right, I've read that one from Sherry Giovanni. I think Johnny's biting already. Let's cross over.
Where you, Papa? You know Papa?
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty
Watch Johnny's bite.
Bismillahir Rahman Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Friday, the 29th of August. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. And let me say thank you to Sonar Fashions in Tamale for my outfit 0246 590 162. That's 0246 590 162. Now, speaking of Sonar, I also have Onia and the GC brand Community League has been playing for some time now. The grand finale is happening this Sunday. Well, the grand finale of the Onia local league is happening this Sunday. 2025 winners will get this coveted cap, immaculately configured coveted cap. Efo Kwame Jakbaso and his team, Carl, and the rest of the team, all of them will be there. It will be at the Gbawe for instant gift for first 200 persons to enter the Gbawe AstroTurf this Sunday. You get a special gift, but this is going to happen on the 31st, right? And you have to be there. The grand finale fixtures, Awoshi will face Adenta, Okankwe North will face Ajirigano, Ashaman Revelations will face La Nkwantanan, Kolegono will face Tema Community 2, and it's happening at the Gbawe AstroTurf, 9 a.m. sharp. You've got to be there. And this is the coveted. Look at how beautiful it is. You have to be there to support your own and be there or be squared. Thank you very much indeed. Now, let's begin the conversation. My very good friend, Mr. Richard Ahiagba, who speaks on behalf of the New Patriotic Party, yesterday, after Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia submitted his nomination forms to indicate that he wants to be president of the republic come 2028 elections and on into 2029, made some comments afterwards, and to suggest the fact that the military should ward off and that any military man seen in Akwetia during the by-elections that will happen hopefully sometime next week will be treated, if you will, as persona non grata. And I shook my head in disbelief. You know why? I shook my head in disbelief because my very good friend Richard Ahiagba was part of the government that just went out of power. And it took only 8 months for him to know that the use of the military is so wrong. I'm saying again that Mr. Richard Ahiagba is my friend. And I was shocked, and I would disagree with him with basis and facts and figures. I was shocked that he could say that publicly because he was part of a government that made sure that throughout their tenure, the president of the republic, who is considered a general because he's the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, had another general following him, a brigadier general. They start off as colonels, but when they are promoted to the rank of generals, they still stay behind him. I spoke about it. I know friends in the military who were not happy about it. I know people at the top who were not happy about it. But the president insisted and did it. He did it twice. In fact, the second general who followed him had occasion to fall down in parliament. And it was a mark of shame on our army, on our Ghana Armed Forces. He was in full regalia with a sword by his side. He fell down on national television and international television for that matter. Did Mr. Richard Ahiyagba find anything wrong with it? That was an abuse of the military. Did he say anything about it? In 2020, towards the run-up of the 2020 elections, when we were trying to compile a new register across the country, under the guise of COVID restrictions, when we had actually lifted the ban on many other things, we refused to allow people to come through the borders, and we used the military. You remember that Edem Agbana and many other people, they were abused. Did he find anything wrong? Did he find his voice? Did he say anything about it? We were in this country where military men were made to carry handbags of people and follow them around. The first lady of the republic at the time, for example, she's not supposed to get a military guard. Hello? Did Mr. Richard Ahiyagba talk about it? See, there's a structured way in which things are done. Military men were made to pound fufu. They were made to hold, push trolley carts in supermarkets to follow Fianga girls, Sisifian people. What did he say about it? Military men were guarding people left, right, center, who didn't deserve to be guarded by the military when the police existed. What did he say about it? In election security task force, the military is always called in when the need be. And so must it be. He ought to know that if the intention is to foment trouble there, the military, yes, will be there to ensure that there's peace and tranquility, to support the police. Were we not in this country when there was some mayhem in Ejura? Simon Osei Mensah, then Ashanti Regional Minister, said that he was the one who called the military to come there. Were lives not lost? Was he sacked? Was Simon Osei sacked from office? What did Mr. Richard Ahiyagba say? Did he find his courage and his voice? We were in this country, 4BN. The conversation about Commander Red, the military know what I'm talking about. There were about 90 lieutenant colonels in waiting. A major was promoted over and above them. Some say because he was the brother of the former Deputy Attorney General, etc. I don't know. Did he talk about it? I can go on and on and on and on, but it's not necessary. So my good friend, Mr. Richard Ahiyagba, this is not now the time for you to find your voice and be issuing threats. In opposition, you don't give instructions. In opposition, you support the system to run. You don't give instructions. Maybe you have forgotten that you are no longer in power. You can't be in opposition and be ordering the government around. No. The government is for the people, and what the people want, where the people want to go, why they want things done in a particular way, where they want it done, etc. That is what the government will do. So please bear that in mind. Now let's begin from the quarters of the Small Arms and Weapons, Light Weapons Commission. 6, Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission. And I've spoken about this so many times. Yesterday I was talking to Dr. Adam Bona. I told him that it's becoming, more like a broken plate and a broken record. Because I've spoken about it so many times. I come from a royal family on both sides of whether on my father's side in Kwe, or whether on my father's side, or whether on my mother's side in Asren, or whether you go to Konkunuru. I come from royalty, and I am royalty presently by the kind courtesy of the Yana himself and my chief of Bogu. Now, I have bemoaned the situation where we have live weapons in the hands of civilians, most of the time not registered, And we're seeing the number of lives that we are losing because of that. And I have cried about it so many times. And the chiefs and elders endorse it for their people, the people who follow them, to have those things. In the past, it used to be musketry with gunpowder. So what happened? What changed? Where from this insanity of people wielding guns and firing at will? Where from it? I was just checking my records and I realized that the last time we did a baseline survey for the national security document was in 2014. Remind me of the year this year. It's 2025, right? 2014 to 2025 is how many years? Now let's read. NACSA calls for traditional authorities to ban the use of firearms in traditional celebrations and festivities. The National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, NACSA, has learned with deep concern of the violent clashes that occurred during the Kpokpoi sprinkling ceremony at Teshi on Wednesday, August 27, 2025, which tragically resulted in the lives of 3, now we are learning, and left several others injured. The Commission extends its condolences to the bereaved families and the constituents of the Teshi traditional area and wishes the injured a speedy recovery. This incident is yet another painful reminder of the recent loss of lives and injuries during similar celebrations, including the death of a Queen Mother who was shot accidentally at her installation ceremony and the near loss of sight of a seasoned journalist during the celebration of a traditional festival. NACSA strongly condemns the display and misuse of firearms, which has become one too many in social and public gatherings, as well as traditional celebrations. By this press release, the Commission is respectfully calling on all traditional leaders to immediately place a ban on the display and use of firearms in this year's celebrations and festivities to prevent injuries and the loss of innocent lives, bearing in mind that a firearm can accidentally take away the life of anything, including our chiefs. While NACSA has proposed an arms bill, which has been submitted to the Honorable Minister for Interior, and when passed into law, would strengthen regulations to better monitor and control the use of firearms during traditional festivities or festivals, an immediate ban remains urgently necessary to protect communities and prevent needless loss of lives while maintaining the sanity and joy associated with such celebrations. As part of its mandate, NACSA will continue to collaborate with traditional leaders, communities, civil society organizations, and security agencies to raise awareness of the dangers of firearms misuse while advancing efforts to strengthen national regulation in line with international best practices. The Commission calls on all citizens to respect the sanity of life and embrace non-violent means of resolving disputes. Together, we can build safer communities and protect Ghana's rich cultural heritage from being overshadowed by gun violence. Dr. Adam A.E. Bonner, Executive Secretary. And I remember when Mr. Hackman Oswajiman, yes, I remember that. I was a boy. We did a play at the National Theatre where a campaign under President Kufuor, I remember this so well, where a campaign was, started for people who had guns that had not been licensed to bring their guns, and submit them. And they had many people submit them. But fast forward to that time, and beyond that time, we have allowed, and there are too many unregistered guns in the system these days. People see it as a status symbol. At the least provocation, people pick out their guns and they start firing at will in the air. We see them. So I understand that the Minister for Interior has given a 3-month amnesty. The Minister for the Interior has given a 3-month amnesty. For come to me. And the 3-month amnesty that has been granted by the Minister for Interior will only prevail for the chiefs and the elders and the Asafu and all those people to gather themselves to bring the weapons that they have, submit them. Beyond the 3 months, wara ujijiriji, as they say in the barracks. Beyond the 3 months, warankasa ujijiriji. Beyond the 3 months, warankasa ujijiriji. Now take me to the regional directorate, the regional minister's press conference yesterday. Yesterday she had occasion to meet the MMDCs, and she was very, very frank. One of the things that she said that struck a chord was that the MMDCs are turning their offices into party meeting grounds. There's a thin line between partisanship and governance.
I agree. But where partisanship now takes over governance and governance is not seen to be thriving, it's a problem. And the minister raised the question so well. The foot soldiers may not be happy about it, yes, but she made a very bold statement and I support her for that. Point number 2, she also mentioned the fact that the appointees should be learning from Madam Victoria Hammer or Miss Victoria Hammer. You know why? Because Victoria Hammer, who had desired to have a certain amount of money while she was deputy minister, was recorded by none other than her driver. And she says that these MMDCs are taking delight in having PAs and showing that I'm a big boy, I'm a big girl. You will be recorded. Don't come and be crying. But let's listen to the Minister 6, please.
In conclusion, let me remind all chief executives here, your performance will be based on 3 clear areas: sanitation, street light, and enforcement of bylaws. This will be documented in my report to the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and forwarded to the Presidency. To the general public, I call on all residents to report 40 street lights for quick action. Take responsibility for sanitation and avoid indiscriminate dumping. Stop mounting unauthorized billboards and assist security agencies in protecting the public infrastructure. I also wish to sound a caution to persons who steal metal and covers and sell them to scrap dealers. Please, you are warned to desist from this act. Anyone caught will be severely punished and dealt with by the law. The people of this region are tired of words. They want results, and they want them now. Thank you for your attention.
Sanitation, street lights, and enforcement of the bylaws. First, find me that dash cam video. But first, 6, the Tesano police station area. The Tesano, not the police station, the police depot. Sanitation is there. Is there in the folder. Sanitation, street lights, and enforcement of the bylaws. I've spoken about the fact that Accra is so dirty. From north to the south, to the east, to the west, Accra is so dirty. And I don't understand why the MMDCs want to wait for a company or an organization to come and clean before they move to clean. You receive your monies, right? It's talking about street lights. This is in front of the police depot. Traffic lights are not functional, and you can count the number of accidents that happen there. The street lights are not working. Look, if you like, start from 37, go through Medina, go all the way. If you like, start from Malam, come, look, it's bazaar. And what's even more painful, for if I'm in that dash cam, what's even more painful is the fact that the road markings are also not functional. Road markings, they are not clear enough. It's dangerous. For going to yesterday's folder, the dash cam, you go in there and you ask yourself, is this the same Accra that we know? And I'm sure that the situation is not just Accra. It cuts across many different regions. So what are we doing? To be an MCE or DCE is not to be there because of whatever. Yesterday, the Accra Mayor, Kpakpo Alote, he sounded a note of caution. He said that, look, we came to you earlier, Pacho, it's okay, please go back. Going forward, the red line policy will be strictly applied. And that is what we expect. Now, this is the, Sakaman stretch all the way. There are no street lights. The road markings are faint. There are no reflectors. And this is a major, major, major road. This connects straight onto the N1. Major, 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 major road. Godway, thank you very much, my brother. Look at it. There are no road markings. So you are driving, you are your own light, you are your own guide, you are your own marker, you are your own reflector, you are your own everything. Why won't accidents happen?
Why won't accidents happen? So, Madam Minister, thank you very, very much, Dendoklu. Sanitation, street lights, enforcement of the bylaws. And enforcement of the bylaws include, people put containers everywhere. People build anyhow. People block the streets anyhow just to organize a jeko, a feyala, ye budding. It's just haphazardly, everybody is doing anything. And it appears that the assemblies go to sleep on Saturdays and Sundays. My understanding of a 24-hour economy, it means that the assemblies cannot go to sleep on Saturdays and Sundays. So no. Because their arms are not dislocated, nor do they have fracture. They are in very good position. They are not in an atasa position. So let us feel that you are at work. Tomorrow, Saturday, if you like, go round town. You will see how people have blocked roads without permission, and they are inconveniencing people left, right, center, and will be tied to you if you speak up. You will be a subject of whatever. Why do we do that to ourselves? So I'm happy that the minister is waking up, smelling the coffee, and making people smell the coffee. But the minister, one last thing. If you have an MCE or a DCE in the Greater Accra region who fails to act the way they have to act, sack them. Here ends my sermon. Have a good weekend. Please call me 055 924
Thank you for staying with us here on TV3. It's New Day and it's time for Big Issue. And like we did indicate earlier in the show, we'll focus largely on the new Patriotic Party. Yesterday marked the close of nominations for the party's flag bearer race. And at the close of nominations, 5 individuals had filed to contest the flag bearer position. You know, the party has decided that they want to elect the flag bearer first. Then afterwards, they will elect other individuals. Is what some have described as the top-bottom approach. Some have criticized it. Some have expressed concerns about the timing also. The election is taking place in January. There are those who have taken the view that, well, it would have been better if the party started its election process at a grassroots level all the way up. But, well, this is what the party is doing. And by way of the individuals who have filed to contest, 5 of them so far. The other individuals who previously contested decided not to participate in this process. Adainimo is an example of one such individual. Boache Jako, the former energy minister. We also know of Joe Garte, the former attorney general, who had previously contested, not participating this time around. But what I want to do now is to show you the 5 that have filed to contest so far, and that will be coming up on the screen quite shortly. Very interesting names there. You see on your screen the 2 Ejapons on the left-hand side. First, Kwabna Eje Ejapon, a former general secretary, an engineer as well. He's the former general secretary of the MPP. He is seeking to contest for the flag bearer slot once again. Then comes Kennedy Ohene Ejapon, the former MP for Asin Central. You know Kennedy Ejapon very well. I mean, when he entered the race initially, the first time, that is before the 2024 elections, many of you did not particularly give him a dog's fight chance in this particular race. But eventually, he participated and he actually placed second in that particular race. And so that is someone to look out for in terms of this particular exercise. And then the new entrants that they have there, Dr. Brian Echampon, the former minister for Agric, at a point was at the National Security Ministry as well, at a point Interior as well. He's the MP for Betifi, a businessman as well, and he has been talking tough in the build-up to this particular race. He had raised questions about Dr. Baomia's candidature in the 2024 elections and how that impacted on the electoral fortunes of the MPP. Lots of criticisms here and there. We've heard the former vice president respond to that, and he's also in the race once again. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, former flag bearer, that is for the 2024 elections, former vice president as well. We know him, he used to work at the Bank of Ghana, a lecturer as well many years ago. He is seeking to win the 2028 elections. He's hoping, first and foremost, that he'll be able to seal this deal quite easily and then move on to contest in the 2028 elections. Already people are discussing his chances, and he seems to be the object of attack from the other aspirants. Some of the aspirants who have gone directly at him, questioning his performance. I'll share some numbers with you in the course of the discussion, just to ask the question whether he still remains the MPP's most viable chance to win the election. Then there's also Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, the former education minister, who, when he announced his bid, I mean, it caught many of you by surprise, because before 2024, his name had come up as a possible running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the Busumtree MP. Interestingly, that did not happen, and he's now filed to contest as the flag bearer, the former education minister, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. So these are the 5 individuals who have filed to contest. So, and when they filed their nomination, I mean, each of them had the opportunity to address the gathering on a number of issues of concern. We have a brief clip that captures key parts of the speech delivered by each of the aspirants. I want us to take a listen to that, and we'll come back and start a discussion.
Values that must necessarily lead us into a new era of renewal and hope. I'm here once again because I believe deeply in the need to restore our cherished values of service, sacrifice, and selflessness back into our party. I envision a Ghana that is economically robust, resilient, fiscally responsible, socially cohesive, and fully accountable to the citizen.
The education factor is real. We are going to do what people never imagined will happen in this country. A young man who grew up literally on a cocoa farm, if uneducated parents became the minister for education when his parents were not educated. That is what I believe is the Ghanaian dream. Opportunity for every youth who is listening to me today, every child listening to me today, for you to know that your better days are ahead of you and not behind you. Do not despair.
My supporters, north to south, east to west, must shy away from comments and commentary that smears individuals and ultimately affect the fortunes of our party.
To win in 2028, we must not just talk unity, we must live it. The repeated attacks by our own party folks on one another is absolutely unhelpful. What we say against each other, the NDC will use against us in 2028.
I am pleading with you to vote for Canadian Japan. Because in the bus, chop bus, truck, wherever you go, market, Ghanaians are crying for Canadian Japan to leave this country. So don't listen to anybody who will come and intimidate you because of his own selfishness.
So you heard from Kennedy Japan, you also heard from Kwabene Japan, Dr. Brian Achampon, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, and Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. An interesting note from Kennedy Japan that says, don't be intimidated by anyone. We'll discuss all of that. Joining me in the studio this morning, David Vondi is MP for Trifu Ati Mokwa. That's in the Western North region.
Sorry, in the
Central region. Okay, Honorable, thank you so much for joining us. Also, in studio is Ebo Bachman. Ebo Bachman, I'll introduce him differently today. He's a former member of the NPP. He's a senior communicator, Movement for Change, also economic and financial analyst. You don't mind that introduction? You're a former member of the NPP.
No, I say it myself. So when you saying it is
just to put it in context that there's someone around the table who is ideologically NPP. I mean, Movement for Change, would you identify ideologically as belonging to the center-right tradition, if I'm to put it that way?
You see, we have not departed.
Okay.
It is the MPP, this MPP that has departed. Okay. And so we are rather going to invite them to come home.
That's fine. Yeah. Next to Ebo is Prof, as always, Professor Enoch Opoku-Intwi is a governance and policy analyst. Prof, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you. It's always thrilling to be here.
All right. And joining us via Zoom, Dr. Samuel Efriye is a political analyst, as well a regular contributor to our discussions here on the show. Doc, thank you so much for joining us.
To also your panelists.
Great. I want to start the conversation right here in the studio. Let me start with Ebo for obvious reasons. I mean, you are familiar with the ideology, so it's only fair that I start with you. I mean, and this is the question, Ebo. I mean, the names that the individuals who are filed to contest. The first question is, within the stock of the NPP, do you think this is the best, or these are the best names, or these are the best individuals who can and should put themselves up to contest for the flag bearer slot?
Okay, these days you've been using Bible scriptures to communicate these days. So I would want us to use a scripture in the book of Ecclesiastes 10:7. And the Bible says, I have seen servants on horses, while princes walk on the ground as servants. And for me, that is the state of MPP now. The servants are riding on horses, and the princes are now walking on the ground as servants. You've asked the question whether this is the best MPP can put forward. But you also mentioned that someone like Adainimo, very fantastic guy, very brainy guy, has withdrawn from the race. And he cited reasons. And one of them was the fact that the submission, the nomination fee you have to pay is 4.6 million Ghana cedis. I mean, this is crazy, eh?
What do you mean?
Yes. That's one of the reasons why he decided to withdraw that 4.6 million will have to be paid to the party to be able to contest. And that he also cited the fact that they don't have, there's no level playing field, even as with this process that they've started. So certainly the MPP has got a lot of guys, Bache Jaku, for example, brainy, very sharp guy. He's not contesting. Others are not contesting, but those who have put themselves forward is what MPP has. But as to whether this is the kind of people Ghanaians would want to lead this country, is something we are yet to see. Especially if you consider the fact that they themselves are telling us that none of them is fit to lead their party. I mean, if you look at the sins, and the MPP has become the sinners brigade now. Apart from two of them that have not seen their sins, Engineer Kobne Japan and Honorable Edichum. I've never seen their sins, but the rest, their sins are out there.
You mean just for those who we want to carry our viewers along? You're referring to the social media publication. They say 10 sins of
the 10 sins. Yeah,
that's the one you're referring to. I've not seen one for the two of them.
The two of them, okay. But the three, and I mean, from where I sit, the three sinners, one of them will certainly win.
Okay.
And if they think they are not fit for their party, I don't think they will be fit to lead this country as well. Because if you look at the sins they've enumerated, the kind of sins, if you do the segregation of the sins, you realize some of the sins are sins even against Allah. Some of the sins are sins against the states. And some of the sins are sins against certain individuals in the country. For example, if you take Dr. Baumier's sin of the stolen rights, for example, that MPP themselves, they put it out. I'm not the one who manufactured it. They said he's committed a sin, and the sin is that he used his office to steal somebody's rights for Salah. And that sin is a sin against...
I mean, that's an allegation involving an individual who worked in his office. I mean, is it fair to...
No, but see, I'm not the one saying it. I'm saying that the party, they themselves are the ones saying it. That, and that sin is a sin against Allah because it's stealing.
So you are reporting what they say.
Yes, and it's also a sin against the individual.
Okay.
Then, for example, Brian Trude say the Ayawasu Wagon issue, he was the mastermind behind it. He said he wanted to buy Senate. It's also a sin. So they are accusing themselves of committing sin. And I'm saying that if you look at the fact that they are accusing themselves and saying that because of the sins you've committed, you are not fit to lead the party, then it stands to reason to say that they are also not fit to lead the country. So yes, they've put forward probably their best now. The five of them, that's all that they can put forward. But as to whether all of them, each of them has what it takes to lead this country, as I said, it's something that we are yet to see. But you see, I talked about the fact that the MPP situation can be described with the quotation that I gave you. I've seen someone, when I see someone like Engineer Kobne Japan, it saddens my heart that today somebody like that is shouting and shouting, but you could hardly hear his voice in MPP. He sees the party as a party that has deviated from the values. You listen to him. Yeah. He was talking about the core values and principles of the party, the principles that underpin the formation of the party. These principles and values are no more in the party. He's trying very hard so that if he becomes the leader of the party, he will be able to restore those values and principles. But his voice cannot be heard because of the state of the party at the moment. And people who have really suffered for the party, who are supposed to be the princes of the party, have now become the servants of the party. If you consider the fact that Dr. Baumie, for example, 2007, in fact, prior to 2007 or 2008, the man had not contributed a pesewa to the party before. He had never contributed a cedi to the party. He had never gone to any rally of the party. He had never said anything about the party. Now he's now become the prince of the party. So the party has shifted.
I mean, but you agree that, I mean, if you're running the political party, it's not about when you join it. You agree with that?
No, when you join is also very important.
I mean, someone would always join before someone.
No, I'm saying that when you join is also very important.
Yeah,
but especially when people are being given undue advantage over others.
Okay.
For example, let me give you what happened yesterday, for example. You know, the party used its social media handles.
I've seen that concern.
Yeah, to promote Alhaji Baumie. They didn't do for the others. I mean, why should that such a thing be allowed to happen in a party like that?
I saw a statement from the elections committee assuring that the process will be fair. And
no, but you know, this election, if you look at, I mean, it is evidently clear. Now, unless you don't have eyes, it is evidently clear that the decision to hold an early presidential primary was made to favor Dr. Bawumia. That decision, that singular decision, has given him an advantage over the other aspirants. And it has started playing out. As I told you what happened yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, but in terms of holding the primary, how does that give him an advantage?
It's the same executives. These executives.
Okay.
These executives.
You mean the decision to hold the flag bearer race before the other?
Yes, that is because then the executives are those who are going to conduct the elections. Okay. And these are the people, Bawumia's people. Are you getting it? So certainly is giving Alhaji a certain kind of advantage. But yesterday something happened, and I want to be very brief on it anyway. Dr. Bawumia seems he hasn't changed, and I will tell you why he hasn't changed. I think it is in the DNA that at any time he speaks more than 5 minutes, you have to lie. Yesterday he made a statement, and we are setting the record straight. For the purpose of setting the record straight, that he said he was the one behind the mobile money interoperability thing, which is a lie, because it wasn't his idea. 2, he said Ghana was the first country to have done that, which is also a lie, because if you check the record, Tanzania had their first mobile money interoperability in 2014. At that time, Dr. Bawumia was in opposition, giving long lectures. So how come that when you are given an opportunity to speak to Ghanaians, you would always want to tell a lie? And that is worrying, and it should be worrying to the party as well. And I am coming from Cape Coast. And one of the sins that I have not seen, that we are yet to see, is the sin that he committed against the people of Cape Coast. You remember the sin? That he said good people of Cape Coast. And he described us as good people of Cape Coast. Yes, we are good people of Cape Coast. He said we are building airport and harbor for you. Yeah. And as you speak, I'm from Cape Coast. I go to Cape Coast very often. We are yet to see our harbor and airport. Yes. And so you could see clearly that the party has got a problem, because from the way things are going, they are skewing the process in favor of Dr. Bawumia. Some of us are not worried because we believe that MPP has no chance in the 2028 election if you consider their performance, how they run the country in the last 8 years. But I saw something striking. Dr. Bawumia was talking about his performance, his achievement in the last 8 years. And we've all come to conclusion, if not all of us, but majority of Ghanaians have come to the conclusion that Nana Akufo-Addo is the worst president Ghana has ever had. But Dr. Bawumia says he is the best vice president Ghana has ever had. So you could see a situation where the president seems to be the worst president and the vice president seems to be the best vice president. I mean, I can't fathom this. I can't understand how this can be possible. So Dr. Bawumia always ran away from responsibility. Instead of him to admit that the presidency is one ticket and that all of them failed woefully, he wants to distance himself and project himself as someone who succeeded. And as I said, some of the examples he even gave as to being his achievements were lies. Are you getting it? So okay. I really don't see MPP having any chance in 2028 election. Okay. I believe that 2028 election should be an election between whoever NDC is going to present and Mr. Alan Chamatin. Because if you look at all those they've presented, Alan is far better than all of them in terms of character, in terms of competence, in terms of credibility. So if really we are concerned about who becomes the president of Ghana, then I think we should look beyond what parties present and look at the persons, whether they have the capability, the competence, and the credibility to lead this country. So I'm looking forward to see I told you our political party is coming, and we are going to showcase the values and the principles that this MPP has deviated from. And we believe that after this Congress, most of them, because this election is for Bawumia, they are cooking everything for Bawumia. And once they do that, all those who will lose, they will have to come and join the proper and original political party that MPP reformed in 1992.
From the way you proceeded with your analysis, I get you suggest that you expect Dr. Bawumia to win.
No, not that I expect him to win. No, see the way things are being done. I mean, the whole thing is being done.
Let me ask it differently. If the playing field were to be equal, would Dr. Bawumia win?
No. There's no way he would.
Who do you think would have won?
Oh, if they are to play it fairly, probably can easily win.
Kennedy Japan.
Yeah, can easily win. But they are not going to do it because even the information some of us have, even with the register, those who have died, they are now changing their names, replacing the dead in the register and all that. They are cooking everything just to favor Dr. Bawumia. And it's up to them. I mean, some of us, we are waiting for whoever they bring. And I believe that Alan is better than all of them.
Let me come to Prof now. And Prof, same question.
Yes.
The names that we've seen so far, I mean, looking at the stock of the MPP party, are these the best?
Well, I agree with both to a large extent that this is not the best candidates that you have. And there are a lot of issues that are worrying that we should talk about. The MPP we knew in 1992 is no more the same MPP now. And those who are hardcore MPP supporters should begin to worry that what happened, that the trend has changed. Couple of things. I heard all that they said. Kwabena Japan talked about a new era of renewal and hope. Duchim talked about his personal story. Parents never went to school, and now he became a minister. Brian talked about that, he's a new force. And then Bawumia talked about unity in the party, and Ken talked about jobs. So they are all coming from different directions. Based on what Ebo said, I think that the former vice president will have to take a lie detector test, a polygraph test, for to show the people that he's not lying, because everything that he says is put to the axe, and people say that that's a lie. They've even tagged him Baulaya. So if you Google, it comes in there. So he will have to come clean to show to people that whatever he's saying is the right thing. Now, there's a fundamental problem in what is happening in MPP. The party's tradition is that they go to Congress and National to vote for their primaries and get the flag bearer 2 years before the election, which is 24 months. For the first time, they are going 12 months earlier to do that. And when you talk about a top-down approach, people have complained that we start from the polling station, we go to the constituencies, we go to the regions, we go to the national. And then the national, we come back and then elect our flag bearer. It's not going to happen that way, because now it's like wearing your suit before your shirt and then your singlet. You see the problem? So that is what is happening there.
And they have justified it. I mean, saying that...
I will talk about the justification.
The disunity in the party, how acrimonious things are. I mean, they want to pick the strong man.
Shortcut doesn't solve problems. Because if you think there's disunity, and because of that, you want to wear your suit first, because you are late to an interview or where. So you wear your suit first before the shirt, and then the singlet. It doesn't go that way, because politics start from the grassroots. Okay. So you go to the grassroots, make sure that you have a new voter register, okay? And then the new voter register will elect a new person, because times have changed. The last election, Bawumia had 44%. So based on that abysmal performance, you have new individuals who want to come into the fold. Remember, a lot of people were even suspended from the party, who were executives. Now that they have been allowed to come back as amnesty, some of them want to also be part of this process, but they've all been sidestepped, which is a problem. Now, let me go to the nitty-gritties. I saw the recent Congress that they had in Legon, MPP had in Legon. Something fundamental. There were contributions from Kennedy Japan, from Bawumia, from Brian Echampong, and in the inner perimeter, only Bawumia was allowed to work. Now, you've taken my money, but at the conference there, Congress there, they talk about 45 or so amendments. Think about even Ghana Constitution if you are making 45 amendments. That would be very massive. So one political party within this short time, you're making a lot of amendments. That means things are not going on well. Okay? Now, when that happened, even Kumi, that MPP lost at Akwetia. Remember about 2 weeks before that conference at Legon. Did you hear anybody saying a minute of silence for Kumi at that place? There was nothing like that. And that was, it's really saddened my heart that a colleague member of parliament passed away 2 weeks before he went for conference, and there was not even a minute of silence, because they were only thinking about one thing, for Bawumia to win. And if you look at what Adenimo said, it's really sad. He said that he has withdrawn his candidature in the primaries, and he cited one, bad timing. That the timing was too early, it was bad. 2, he said that there's biased party executives. The party executives are biased. 3rd, he said that there's 4.6 million filing fee that you have to pay. And that means that MPP internal politics have been monetized. these are things that should worry anybody who is an MPP supporter. Now, let me come back to leadership. When we talk about leadership, one thing I would digress with Ebo a little bit, that leadership is moment. Moment bring people. Look at Obama. Look at a lot of people. Their moment can bring somebody. So all the people touting themselves that, well, I want to win, I want to do this, politics can bring somebody, a moment can bring somebody and the person can lead a political party. So that I want to put on record. But that said, if you look at the candidates, 5 of them, I think, from my analysis, that Brian just wants to be in the line. Yes, Brian wants to be in the line. Akufo-Addo, you know, this is a Dankwa Buzia Dombo party.
Okay.
Brian knows very well that Akufo-Addo from the Eastern region spent 12 years in opposition and 8 years, you know, in power. 20 years in Eastern region. It's not going to come back to Eastern region again. He wants to be in line so that when he comes back to Eastern region, then he will be at the front line. Now, Bawumia knows this is his last chance. That is why all the political, you know, the party people are trying to fight for him. If he doesn't win, that is the end of him. But Bawumia technically has surpassed the vice presidential role. Because he's been a vice president, you know, 2 times. So now he's vying for it. And nobody can win and then make Bawumia a vice presidential candidate. So he has passed the vice presidential role. That is why he has to go. And he represents the Dombo side. If he doesn't win this election, then that is the end of him.
I mean, why should it be the end of him? I mean,
that would be the end of him in the party. They will look for another candidate.
Akufo-Addo won in his 3rd attempt.
Yeah, so I'm coming there.
But his performance were better.
Performance. So I'm coming there. But you see, Bawumia also knows from his analysis and calculations and his data analysis that Ghanaians are really, they look for sympathy when they are voting. So you don't win, you come back again, and you don't win. Yeah. And even at the primaries at the local level, say, so what they do is that they will vote for him after he goes conservative times. But if you go with that abysmal performance, you know, not even getting 45%, then it becomes very difficult to pitch that they should give you that opportunity again. And that is where Ken comes in. So Ken is somebody, we know that from 1992 to 96, 96 was a very crucial moment in our politics, where a Konkin Senaka, who was vice presidential person to Rawlings, became a vice presidential person to Kufuor.
A candidate, yeah.
A candidate to Kufuor. So that was a very tense moment. Now, we've never had a candidate in MPP from the central region. So we see what Ken can do when he comes to the fold. Then we go to Kwabena Japan, and Kwabena has been talking about values. In fact, all over the world, when we talk about leadership, it's about values. I have always defined leadership as your character in action. So the character of Kwabena has been consistent about the values, preserving the values. We know his father and his family history, preserving the values of MPP. But unfortunately, his voice has been numbed. Nobody's listening to Kwabena now because it's all about money. The fact that Kwabena and Afoko were taken off by Akufo-Addo from the party means that Kwabena don't have money now. And I remember in 2009, 2007 or so, when he contested, he was one of the 17 or so that contested. People were always in his house, but you know, at the end, the vote that he had, only 9. So a lot of things have gone on in the political party, and I think that Dr. Duchum, you talked about that. Dr. Duchum was also touted to be one of the running mates, including somebody that we handed over to John Kuma, because I handed over to John Kuma at Opokuware. So I know John Kuma very well. So when I was living here in Ledger, became the SP and assistant SP. So he was one of the guys touted to be part of the Bawumia team as vice president. But in politics, it is about who you align with. And I think he didn't align well, or we had a lot of people pushing for Napo, that Napo won. So he's also lacing his boot in such a way that if Bawumia doesn't win, and it comes to the Ashanti region, which is next, because after Eastern, it goes to Dankwa, Buzia, and then Dombo. Now, when it comes to Ashanti region, then he can be a foot or a step ahead of Napo. So these are very intentional things that they are doing, and this is very strategic. Now, I am ending with leadership. When it comes to executives, power, because we are different kind of leadership, church leadership, community leadership, presidential leadership. When it comes to the executive, the main function is coordination. So let's look at the 5 who can coordinate well in leadership. And you have to use the balls, you have to use your ministers, people briefing you, you have all your eyes everywhere. You are not supposed to know everything as a leader, but any individual you select into your team determines your judgment. It's about your judgment, who you pick to be part of your team. It's just like relationship. Who we pick to be in a relationship with, it borders on our judgment. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the last election. Bawumia had 61%, 61.4%, and then Ken had 37.41%. We know that Dr. Uswefri Akoto had 0.76%, and then Francis Adenimo had 4%, 0.4%. So when we come to our leadership, the person that we are looking for, it's not everybody who can be a president. And you can serve your country in different directions. You don't necessarily have to be a president to serve your country. Whichever position that you find yourself, you have to shine. Let your light shine there. And I think I hold on to that mantra. But being a president means you are head of state. So let's look among the five. The head of state means that you represent Ghana internally and then externally as a sovereign nation. Which one among them will represent Ghana best internally and then externally? The second one is that you are head of government. That means that you have to make sure that you have national policies on hand. So which among them knows national policies? Then the third one is that you appoint officials. The president alone appoints over 7,000 individuals, and that borders on judgment. Which one of them has the best of judgment? Then the president also have a legislative function. That means that you sign bills into law, which means knowledge. That is why in leadership, every position that you find yourself, from president to the cleaner, you need some competencies. So let's look at the competencies of each individual, which one of them knows about these things. And then you are commander-in-chief. People say this a lot, that commander-in-chief of the armed forces. But it borders on two things, security and defense. So which one of them can help our security and then our defense? Then crisis management is also key in somebody that we pick as our leader, you know, of any political party. So how do the person manage crisis? And that talks about your character and then your temperament. So let's look at the five of them, their temperament, how they handle issues. Do they get angry quick? How deep is their thought? Then they promote national development. So which one of them have an idea? I'm talking about ideation here. Rich ideas about how to promote national development. The last one is the symbolic role. That is very important to me. If you want to be a leader of any political party or a nation, you have a symbolic role. That means you have to be a unifying figure. Which one among them will unify Ghanaians and heal us from what we've been going through? Now Ghanaians will be the judge.
Prof, you are the professor, you are the governance person. This is your yardstick. Who scores the highest mark on it?
on all these, I think that Bawumia scores the highest. Okay. And he will win this one, primaries, because like Ebo said, every step of the way.
No, Prof, you're coming to say something else now.
No, but that is the fact.
No, I said, but that's the fact. I mean,
because the fact.
Don't sit here and behave like.
If you say he scores highest,
yes,
I think you can conclude it. But you want to make the point again that
okay, let me conclude.
In his favor,
he will win the primaries because he scores the highest on all these.
Yeah.
And Kabila Japan is also very close in this.
Okay.
But in the end, he will lose in 2028.
That's Dr. Bawumia?
Yes.
Okay.
But even Kobna will have to score better than him on the same factors he used.
Well,
if I'm going to be objective,
I don't know if you're using the same marking scheme.
Yeah, I'm going to be objective.
let me come to Honorable. I mean, at the NDC, I mean, obviously the party, aside from the NPP, likely to win the elections. I mean, you are outside, you're looking at your opponents. These are the names that you are seeing. I mean, those days when we used to play football, when you see the names of the team, you can either, Charlie, and then they are Subeshi, or you will be comfortable that, oh, this one, I mean, the names we are seeing now, what mood does it put you in as belonging to the NDC?
I mean, that's nice, you know. I've met him in some other stations. This is the first time I meet him, Prof.
Well, nice meeting you.
Very nice, you know. I thought you were a very young man, you know. Just very handsome looking, you know. And TV3, I think this is my first time being on your set. Good morning to everybody.
Thank you for coming.
Have the opportunity to watch this show this morning. Ordinarily, as an NDC man, you know, I would never wish the MPP well, especially on political, you know, grounds. Again, yes, I do not wish them well on any political grounds. You know, because the more you give them chance to rule this nation, they destroy the fabrics of this nation. They destroy the economic, you know, fabrics of the nation. They destroy the unity of the nation. They destroy the infrastructure of the nation. Everything goes down. And so such a grouping, I mean, I'm sure that if you love the country, Ghana, you will be the last person to wish them well in regrouping, thinking they want to come and take this country, again and govern. And so I will be the last person to wish them well. But you see, the organization in itself leave much to worry about. How do you form a political party? How do you group? How do you select a flag bearer? I think that the way they're doing it in itself is wrong. Prof said, and Ebo said, same, I believe that if you want to form a political party and you want to select executives of the political party, you don't count the flag bearer as one of the executives of the political party. What you do is that you first of all would want to look at the grassroots, where we call the branch executives of the party. You go and have elections of the branch executives of the party. Then you move to the constituencies to have their, in our branches we have 9 executives. They have, I think, 5 or 7 thereabouts, So you move to the constituencies. Then you have elections that will give you the constituency executives. So then what you do is that you build your ground, the base of the party, okay? And then you move to the regions and have your regional executives. Then after, you go to the national and have national executives. That's how a very formidable, responsible party is being formed. So that's how it looks. The top, the party formation ends at the national executive. So when you look at the hierarchy of representation of party executives, you don't count the flag bearer as one of it. Okay, now that you form the party, then the party goes in looking for a flag bearer who will represent the party in fighting for external election, which of course is the general election that you have other parties, contesting. This time around, the MPP, I don't know what they call bottom. This is not a bottom-up approach, because if you want to say bottom-up approach, that you want to
top to bottom.
If you want to say top to bottom approach, what you will do is to go and elect the national chairman of the party. Then you come down to elect, regional executive of the party. Then you go back to elect the constituency executive of the party and the polling agent. The flag bearer has no position whatsoever in the formation of a party executives. Okay, so really, I don't know the strategy they're using. I mean, this
is what they are working with now. And
I'm saying to you that.
I mean, I get you. I mean, you've seen the 5 names that have come up. I mean,
so I'm saying to you that what they are doing in itself, it's a confused strategy that they don't even know where they're running, and everybody's just doing whatever they want to do, and there is no formation, there is no strategy, there is nothing. This is a confused party. And again, I would not wish them well. They should go ahead like that. Now we have 5 people who've thrown themselves in there and wanting to become flag bearers of their party. I remember is it 2000 when almost 17 of them contested?
Yes. Was before the 2008 elections. Yeah, before the 2008 elections.
Yeah, the 17 of them, threw themselves in there and wanting to contest to become president, their leader. And all of them said that God asked them to contest. At the time, I think I was younger than, now. I was, and I asked myself, this God must be a very interesting God.
So Honorable, directly, the names you've seen so far.
Seriously, I'm trying to.
Does it put the NDC in fear?
N capital N-O, no. This is a joke.
Okay.
In any case, let's look at them one after the other.
Let's start with Kennedy, Japan.
Kennedy Akumpre Japan, coming from the central region and being a member of parliament, a nice business person, very, serious about doing his business. Unfortunately, he's not a political successful person. Not politically, a successful person. This is a man who has no temperament at all. This is a man who say anything at any time.
Have you seen people
shouting.
draw the comparison with Trump?
No, I mean, Trump is a different individual in a different political jurisdiction.
Okay.
You can compare.
But if
Trump.
you take out the political jurisdiction, the similarities are
when
obvious.
you look at America, America is not found.
But I'm saying that if you take out the political jurisdiction being different, the similarity between the two of them.
But that's not who we are. Yeah. Okay. The Ghanaian people.
So he's not suited for our political
I'm sorry,
jurisdiction.
that's not who we are.
That's fine. Let's take it.
So that's the point.
Dr. Yawase Edichum.
Sir Edichum is a nice talker, somebody who wants his voice to be heard. Unfortunately, his voice is not heard. You know, he touted himself for achieving a lot of things in the educational sector, but I can assure you, until they left her, there was no syllabus for even secondary school, JHS and primary students to learn. So I mean, again, you can't be touting yourself for achieving so much when the students don't even have learning guide.
Dr. Brian
put him off. Brian is a business guy who is interested in grabbing anything around to make money. I mean, that's not the kind of person who wants to lead us.
That's not a fair description.
With the greatest of respect, this is a man. I agree with you.
He's a former minister for agriculture. He's running to be the flag bearer.
You see, if you give us time, if you give me time, I'll deal with him. This is a person who became a Greek minister. And as at the time he was a Greek minister, you agree with me that food was really expensive in this country. You cannot show me absolutely one intervention that Brian brought, up that solved the problems of food shortages and food prices in this country. You cannot at all. Brian happened to be the security minister when Ayawaso West Wagon situation occurred. Did you hear him say anything, just one word, just to even sympathize with those that have been harmed and people that have been shot and all that? Nothing. I remember when they set up a committee of inquiry and when they brought up, a report, the president then issued a white paper clearing those that were called culpable. Okay. And this is the man who want to lead this country. Okay. I mean, he would throw this country into anarchy. And I don't think that's the person who want to lead this country.
Okay, there's Kwabena Japan as well.
Kwabena Japan's voice, the more he sound loud, it's more silent. In his own party, and he's not going to get the nod anyway. Kwabena should be a nice gentleman, somebody who can be an opposition leader continuously, not becoming a president. Unfortunately, his party is not going to give him the opportunity. So Kwabena is a nice man, but he won't get the chance. Okay. I mean, that's that I know that, and that's the truth.
How about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is not a new person to Ghanaian politics. Mahamudu Bawumia we know. And so we don't want to waste our time considering Mahamudu Bawumia's competence, because he's not competent. He's a liar. He lies in everything he says. Remember that, His Excellency Akufo-Addo's winning the first elections was because of Bawumia factor. Because of the many lectures that Bawumia held at Central University, how he touted himself as the best economist, how he decided he promised to hold the cedi from further deteriorations that was going to make one cedi $1. You remember those days? How he was going to make Ghana a heaven, how he was going to change the economy of this country. Now, when the reality dawned on him, have you ever heard Bawumia talk about the economy again? So this is the character we're talking about. And this is not the person who should come and lead our nation. Okay. So I heard a rumor about many individuals, very nice, gentle, men and women who actually are thinking of contesting to become our flag bearer in the NDC. And any of them that I pick will beat any of these young, men that the MPP is putting up. Okay. So for me, I'm in a very comfortable seat.
Let me ask you this. Who amongst the five do you think will make it difficult for the NDC to win the election? Don't say none of them. You've said that already.
How can you ask a question and answer?
No, I'm setting the parameters of the question.
Reading one of my master's program, and one lecturer was a very good friend. He would set his own economics question. and he will answer it and tell you, don't copy my answer.
Yeah, so I want to limit you.
Yeah.
Which of the 5 do you think will make it a bit difficult for the NDC to win the election? Even if it's a very little.
Kwabena in Japan, we do not know too much rot about his political, life. And so would be somebody you would want to find it difficult to talk about politically. And so such a person would be in a contest, but again, he's not really a match.
Okay, that's right.
So that's what about it.
Okay, no problem.
Again, so like I was saying, I heard rumor, about some people, fine gentlemen in our party who want to contest because again, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will not be contesting again, in as much as I believe that such a gentleman who is leading this country into this very successful path, we could do things that will make him go again. But hey, he said he's not going, and I respect that. Anybody who contests our elections and win and become a flag bearer will be the next president of the Republic of Ghana after His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You know that, I know that.
Okay.
And so these are people who are, playing around. I love them.
Let me bring in Doc on Zoom now. Dr. Samuel Efriye, Doc, you are still with us. First, the question I started with is the names that we've seen so far. Are these the best options for the NPP? I mean, given the context that political parties exist first and foremost to try and win political power, are these the best options that a party can put forward?
Definitely, yes. That is what the party have, and they have to get them in place for the delegate to vote for them. At the same time, the one that will become the flag bearer that will put up for Ghanaians. But when you look at each of them, you can easily identify that they all have their unique backgrounds. We can talk about Dr. Bawumia being an economist. We can talk about Dr. Educhum, who is an educationist. We talk about Kwabena Japan, who is also an engineer. We talk about Kennedy Japan, who is an entrepreneur, and also Brane Champon, who is also an entrepreneur. The question is, are these people qualified to lead this country to solve our problems? And that is the critical issue. And I believe that what Prof said, Prof Entry has even enumerated that even if you all have these kind of backgrounds, you are going to manage people, and you manage people to achieve a result. So first and foremost, as a leader, are these people having the vision to lead this country or to solve our problems? That is one. Again, I think Prof have even said about, personality counts a lot when it comes to voting for our leaders in this country, especially political leadership, because Prof was mentioning different types of leaders, where we have political leaders, we have community, we have religious leaders. Our issue now, based on what the MPP is working themselves for, is political leadership. So all these kind of people that they have selected, at least, I'm even glad that they have 5, because the MPP is noted as having a large number of people trying to vie for position. And I believe that they try to use some financial criteria in a way to reduce the numbers. Well, that is for their own way to get the few numbers. But I think the 5 is quite okay for the delegate to select. So for these backgrounds, we need people that can translate their vision for this country. When you look at their statement, you can realize that the business people are trying to draw the attention that we have to get jobs. We have to get jobs for the youth. But I think that they also need to ensure that it's not only the youth that is in the country. What do Ghanaians expect from them? What are they coming to do to ensure that they put people around them to achieve those goals? Prof mentioned some emotional kind of stability. If you're a leader, your emotional stability is very, very, very critical. Are these people qualified to talk about unity? How to bring people together? Because you are not going to rule just a few people just to lead them. So how are you going to ensure that all the 16 regions, you bring them on board for the vision for this country to be achieved? So it is critical that you cannot use your career, you cannot use your background as a trump card to convince others that you can solve the problem of this country without you as a person demonstrating honesty, demonstrating accountability, demonstrating integrity, and trying to let people trust you. If people can trust you, then you can take the mantle of this country to achieve a greater result. So for some of us, all what they will be doing, attacking each other, it doesn't matter. It matters most when your personality can help a Ghanaian or can help this country to solve their problem. And that is what Prof has attributed. I'm adding some to it to ensure that the leadership of the MPP will select someone who can solve the Ghanaian problem, and also a personality that can ensure that the Ghanaian or this country tend to achieve its greater results of the vision that they have for us. So, but I will say that the Dr. Bawumia campaign should not be dwelling much on the achievement of that is Nana Addo trying, because yesterday I heard him mention some of the interoperability, this and that. No, Dr. Bawumia, who is Dr. Bawumia? What do you have for the delegate? What do you have for this country? And that is what I believe that you need to concentrate on. And that is what people are ready to hear from to see that he is a new person, that is to reposition himself. Because most of the things that the government, that is the previous, that is the Nana Addo administration, he has been tagged and has been even been victim of some of these things. So he needs to reposition himself as a new person, and also to ensure that he tends to enumerate his vision for the delegates and also for Ghanaians if he's been selected as a flag bearer. And I believe that because Dr. Bawumia will be a target, all the arsenals of these aspirants, they will be throwing at him, and he needs to control himself and be focused. And I believe that if they all come together, and then lastly, they also have to ensure that there's fairness. The electoral process, the campaign process and everything, the party needs to be conscious that they have to treat each and every one with the party so that they cannot be seen as untreated. If not, some people will use various means to justify their disappointment when they are not being selected. And I think that is what will help the MPP to get it on. If they come, then Ghanaians will tend to select as against the NDC candidates that they will be elected.
Doc, is it fair to say that Dr. Bawumia is the MPP's best foot forward?
As I think, Prof, I listen to him a lot. And for now, looking at how the party has modeled themselves, at the same time looking at the strategy of not changing the delegate, I think he might be one of the favorites for this election. That is the MPP election. And personality, you see, the attribute of Dr. Bawumia counts a lot if you compare with them. Because he has been a vice president, he has some links, he has a lot of people, he has been 8 years in opposition as a vice president and also vice president in government. And so he has a lot of contact and experience and some kind of personal attributes that might also get him the nod. Because when you look at those, the other ones, maybe they are, because of their role as ministry, as an MP, you might not have that kind of clout as compared to Dr. Bawumia. And as I said earlier, you realize that the attributes of each of them count a lot in terms of a Ghanaian voting for a president. When you look at all the presidents that Ghanaians have selected, Ghanaians have a certain model, a certain kind of people that they wish to select for this country. You can talk about Kufuor, you can talk about Rollins, you can talk about that is the late Mills. You talk about Nana Addo. I think Nana Addo has to come in and change some things about it. You have to also rebrand himself for Ghanaians to accept him. So a Ghanaian has a certain kind of people that they wish to be their leader, a leader of at least empathizing, a leader that is visionary, a leader that can be trusted, a leader that is honest, a leader that is having an integrity. You know, these attributes is what some people, especially emotional intelligence, is very, very critical as being a leader. As Prof said, you will be working, you are a leader, and you have a lot of things that you have to manage. And you have to put people at certain places for you to achieve that kind of result. So if you are not a manager, if you don't have the attribute of honesty, if you don't know how to make good judgment is critical in our leadership, in political leadership. because if you put somebody because you are commander-in-chief, you are in charge of this, you are in charge of that, how do you make decisions? How do you make critical decisions? And that is what matters. So it's not just about leader coming in, I've done this in my ministry, I've done this in my area as an MP, I've done this, and then technically you tend to believe that you can be a leader. Prof said something, and I like that because he said that it's not every area that of your profession that you can use to determine that I can be a leader. Leaders have certain attributes, especially political leadership. And in our country, as leaders, as people, it has all situational leaders that require for a certain period of time. Rawlings had his own time. Kufuor has his own time. Nanado has his own time. President Mahama is having his own time. So after President Mahama, what kind of leader is expected to carry on what President Mahama has finished his term? So all these things need to be critically looked at. And I believe that the generation that we have, we need people who are thinkers, who are creators, who can solve problems, and not always being copycat and using a way of 1 + 1, just make it 2. And then we have to be innovative. We need to have innovative leaders to solve our problems. If not, we'll always be moving up and down and creating problems for ourselves, and leaders will come, and then probably we might not see any kind of solutions to major problems. We are not still out of our economic situations. We are not out of most of the issues that is confronting this country. Our growth is an issue, and you see all the time, the Fourth Republic, about 30 years, 33 years or 35 years, we are still where we are because we have not been selecting or voting for people that can help us solve our problems. People, those who have vision or those who come in, we just bring them on board, then later we change them. So it's like going up and then coming down sometimes. And that doesn't augur well for us. We see our president moving to Japan and Singapore. We realize that how their leaders have changed their country because we are having leaders who are visionary, who are committed, who have integrity, trust, the people who can marshal people around them to able to achieve greater results. And these are leaders that we need. If not, I'm sorry that we might not achieve what Ghanaians expect from these political leaders. And then we might fail as a country.
Doc, I would want to start the next round with you. And I mean, let's focus a bit on Dr. Bawumia. I mean, he has been heavily criticized by some of those who are contesting against him. And they all make reference to the election results of 2024. But if you look at the numbers closely and compare to how other candidates have fared on their very first attempt. So, for instance, if you look at 1992, when the famous history professor, Professor Albert Edubuan, contested, he had 30.4%. Dr. Bawumia in 2024 had 41.7%. Again, if you compare to John Agyekum Kufuor's first attempt, he did 39.6%. Dr. Bawumia, 41.7%, better than Kufuor's first attempt. Yes, when you compare with Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's first attempt, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo did better. He did 49.1% in the first round and subsequently did 49.8% in the runoff. Those two numbers are better than the 41.7% that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia obtained in the December 2024 elections. But the impression generally is being created that this is someone who was so abysmal such that he ought not be given a second chance at all. I mean, do you share the story that the numbers are telling that, well, maybe the MPP should give him another opportunity? And we've seen it for other candidates who have even had 3 opportunities. He deserves another. Or those who simply say that, look at the results, they can't risk having him around at the flag bearer slot anymore. Where do you stand?
Well, you know, when we talk about Dr. Bawumia, it's the party that failed. It's the party that failed the people of this country. And we can talk about that is President Nanado, the former president. And you can realize that if any report that has come or the committee that they set up, if they're able to come up and accuse Dr. Bawumia, because we have to talk about facts here. Dr. Bawumia being an issue about the leader, that is the flag bearer, not having that kind of result. You know, it all comes of facets. I believe that if they channel everything, all the problems or all the party failing to Dr. Bawumia, I think they have not been fair to him. All those who are contesting, one way or the other, are part of the system that failed this country. They failed the country, woefully, and that is the result that they got in 2024, of which it has created a lot of confusion, and they are accusing each other for bringing those kind of results. We can talk about what happened about various constituencies. If we can attribute seriously about Dr. Bawumia failing, then the presidential results and also the parliamentary results, we have to look at it critically. They lost most of the seats. Can you say that you can attribute it to Dr. Bawumia? Here we are talking about facts. If they're able to generate facts to support, I'm not saying that Dr. Bawumia is not. He is also part of the system, and he also contributed to the party not achieving the result that they expected. So I don't want it to be singled out where Dr. Bawumia will be accused for all the, should I use the word rots, that came out in the 2024. I think if you do that, then you are not being fair to him. Everybody, the national executive, former President Nanado, all the party regional executives, all of them, and even the management of the economy. You see, Ghanaians based on the management of the economy, and we learned that Dr. Bawumia was also the chairman of the economic management team. So he can be responsible for that. But you cannot use other areas to also accuse him because Dr. Bawumia is the one that bear the role. But because he's the flag bearer, I think we have something we call collateral, whatever that we have in business. I think Prof. will be a lot in that. When they would tend to accuse you, if it goes well, then it's you. If it's bad, then you also have to accept it. And I think that is what is making Dr. Bawumia being seen as having the collateral responsibility of the failure of the party. And that is why the committee was set up to ensure that they will scrutinize it and identify where the issues. It's unfortunate that the results, they don't bring those recommendations or the outcome to some of us to even look. But grapevine, you can realize that there's a lot that went on within the party, and I think the party need to refocus, and I think the party has to have reset to ensure that they tend to focus more to make the party more attractive. If not, I'm sorry that they can't see the light in the 2028 elections. Okay,
let me come to the studio now, and well, I want to start with you from the studio. I mean, the same question I asked him, and if you compare the results, I mean, even if you pay a closer attention to Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I mean, one would argue that the MPP gave him quite a long group. I mean, the very first time he did very well, better than Bawumia, but he did 49.1 in the first round. In the second round, he declined to 49. He declined downwards, 49.8 thereabout. Then 2012, he drops down to 47.96%. But then eventually in 2016, he shoots up to 53.72. And so if we were to, go by that, after 2012, they should not have allowed him anywhere near the flag bearer race. But the party banged on him, and he led the party to victory in 2016. I mean, this is just a man whose first outing is better than Professor Dubois. His first outing is not too bad. I mean, if you look at closely at the others, you kind of say that they've done better, but it's not an out of place performance if you look at it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. Were you around 1992?
You can talk
in 1992.
He was around.
But if you put Bawumia in 1992, you don't make 10%.
Okay.
If you put Bawumia in 1992 election, you don't make 10%. I'm telling you, 1992 election wasn't an election. So for Dr. Dubois to have got the number that he got, 30.4%. Yeah, was quite significant.
Okay.
We are not talking about party in government. There's party in opposition 92 when we had just transitioned from military to a. So that point has to be made. Even the 96 one, President Kufuor's one.
39.6.
Once again, if you were around, you will know the kind of election we had. That is why President Kufuor could only win when former President Rawlings was exiting. Are you getting it? So if you use these figures, then and you want to be very sincere, you come to the conclusion that Dr. Bawame's performance was woefully. Was a very bad performance. If you want to be very sincere, that if you do the comparison,
those who will respond to you, they will simply say that a political context always exists. I mean, the context within which the elections takes place. Yeah, but you can always use it to justify whatever.
Yeah, but you are talking about 96 because you brought those figures.
Yeah, in the context of the first time they entered the race.
No, 92 was a government in a party in opposition.
Yeah,
96 was party in opposition.
Yes.
Yeah. In Nadu's performance, first one was party in government.
Which was better than Dr. Bawame's.
Yeah, but the second one was party in opposition.
Yes.
So we need to consider that. But Dr. Bawame was government in power.
Okay.
So if you
are going to look at it that way, then it means that his performance, 41.7% against the 2008 49.1, which means that his performance was very bad.
Yeah, it was very bad. That's what I'm saying, that if you do that comparison well. But you see, when I hear people talk, it's not about MPP going to appoint somebody to become president. They are going to elect somebody to come and contest an election, and people are only talking about the product. See, and this is maybe I will have to. I didn't want to say this, but let me say this. You see, people forget that it's not about the product you produce; it's about the market. Market determines what you produce. So if you focus on the product, that's why I usually give the example. Pork is if you go to certain part of this country, serious delicacy. People will even sell to buy pork. If you go to other part of this country, it is a haram. So the problem is not the pork. The problem is where you are selling the pork. So market determines what you produce. In fact, I wrote several articles when I was in MPP. I mean, prior to the elections, when Alan was in the race. And I was making an argument that Dr. Bawame was not going to be a good candidate. And I used the political market analysis to prove a point. And I was vindicated. And it's going to happen again. They are going to elect him, and it's going to happen again. They are not going to learn their lessons. You see, we are talking about somebody who has had opportunity to lead this country before. Let's be honest with ourselves. One of the reasons why I think Dr. Bawame is not competent is that one of the foremost functions or responsibility of any economic manager is the issue of allocation of resources. Now, Dr. Bawame had the opportunity to lead this country as a leader of the economic management team. Now, if you remember, 2017, he was the one going to parliament with Konoforata because the two of them were those preparing the budget.
Yeah.
Now, you have to allocate resources. You have NAPCO, which was just a stopgap measure.
Yeah.
And you had one district, one factory, which was supposed to be a flagship program that would transform Ghana's industrial revolution. Then you allocate almost 4 billion, according to his own words, 4 billion for NAPCO, something that is very unproductive, short-term measure. Then you allocate only 450 million. Look at the difference, almost 10% of what was spent on NAPCO. And you say this such a person is a prudent, a competent person. We are talking about allocation of resources because resources are limited. And so when we are given an opportunity, you need to think deep and see how I'm going to allocate the resources in such a way that it will benefit the country. Now, listen, if we have spent that money on 1D, 1F, look at what was going to happen. The youth were going to get permanent jobs to do. Now, the country was going to get revenue in terms of corporate income taxes. Now, we are going to have increase in our export revenue. And also, we are going to reduce our import expenditure. That is how an economist thinks. And so for an economist, and NAPCO was being managed from his office. From his office. And you see such a person is a prudent person. Everything he has done, he copied. Mention anything that he has originated it. Everything he has done, copy, and he will not even give credit. He will not even give credit to where credit is due. I just gave you an example. Yes. I mean, be honest and say that mobile money interoperability was started by NDC. If NDC had won the 2016 election, they would have implemented it. So once you get the opportunity to continue, you acknowledge that, oh, it was started by NDC and we implemented it. But you don't own it and you don't even lie that Ghana was the first country to have done that. So I'm saying that if you look at, let me be honest with you. I don't wish MPP to win 2028. Yeah, because Mr. is better than all those producing. All those they are producing, or they are going, or whoever they are going to produce. Now, but if you are going to be very sincere, and as I said, you consider the nature of the market. These factors, wherever you go in this world, these factors determine election. Economic factor, the state of the economy at the time of elections plays very role, and your potential to make things work in the economy plays a role. Ethnic factor, anywhere in the world, every election, even assembly election. Ethnic factor plays a role. Religious factor, everywhere in the world, religious factor plays a role. That is why if you go to Senegal, no party will present a Christian, not because they don't like Christians, but because they know that the market determines what you produce. Are you getting the argument I'm making? Okay. So if you are a political party and you are going to elect your candidate, this is free advice. You don't only look at the product you are producing. You juxtapose the product with the market that is existing market, and see the dynamics and see the kind of product that if you go to the market, you don't have to shout too much.
So for clarity, as far as you're concerned, the market that the NPP is competing in currently, Dr. Bawumia is a bad fit for that market.
Yes, and especially what the product your opponent is offering.
I mean, we don't know the product they'll be offering.
Of course, you see, and that is a mistake. See, NDC is going to wait.
Does that not?
NDC is going to wait.
Does that not give?
The moment MPP picks a candidate, they will survey the market and pick a candidate that can easily have an advantage. That can have an advantage over MPP's candidate. So MPP must be very careful. Even though I don't want them to. You see, the point is that whoever they bring, this time around, if you study.
It seems you don't care.
No, of course. And I don't want them to win. No.
That's the advice I'm getting, that whoever they bring, you don't care.
No, for good reason. If you look at the performance of MPP in the last 8 years, I've been asking this question. MTN Ghana Limited, if they employ CEO, and the CEO fails, in the next 4 years, the CEO comes again. He says, the person gets sacked. The person comes again and says, give me opportunity again. When there are other competent people.
I mean, there are examples here in Ghana. I mean, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I mean, he was voted out. He's come back and so far, all the data.
In his first attempt.
In the context of the fact that when you are dissatisfied with him, you take it.
No.
I mean, it depends how you want to target. But the point being made is that he lost as a sitting president. This is a sitting vice president who was trying to lead the party. He's also lost and he's come back.
You see, let me tell you why President Mahama lost in 2016. And then this MPP is trying to use the same playbook. They lied too much about the president.
Back in 2016?
Yes, 2016. Okay. That is why in 2020, he did so well. In fact, 2020 election, if NDC had been very careful and had been very vigilant, they would have won the elections. In fact, I believe that it's like what happened to me in Cape Coast when I was contesting on Abuka Sijacha. I won by voting and I lost by counting. NDC won by voting and lost by counting in 2020. So you could see that.
I mean, even if you look at the parliamentary results.
Yeah. So you could see that, like, the Ghanaians realized that these people, all the things they told us were lies. Are you getting it? So all of a sudden they changed their mind, and the election almost, we had hung parliament, and after that they gave 1.7 million difference. And we think that within 4 years, you are going to present the same candidate, and it's thinking that because Leonardo went 3 times, the market favored Leonardo. Because I've given you, the economy was not good at the time Leonardo won. A bit, I mean, if you look at it. Then Leonardo, if you look at the religious factor, favored him. The ethnic factor. If a party has 5 polling station executives and you go for an election in that polling station, you get 0. That should be a matter of great concern to you. That you have 5 polling station executives in
coming from your party.
You're coming from a party in a polling station, and you go for an election and you get 0 in that polling station.
None of them voted for you.
And you think it's a joke. You think it's a joke.
Come to Prof. Yes, Prof. We are staying on Dr. Bawumia because of
on Dr. Bawumia, I would say to Ghanaians that leadership is too important to be left with leaders alone. Our leaders need help because John Maxwell said that it's always lonely at the top. And 80% of leadership is followership. So it's just 20% that leads us. Now, the challenge is that if you look at the figures that you gave, you cannot compare 41.7% to 49%.
Yeah.
There's a vast difference. Even I've seen students who come to me and say, Prof, I needed just one, just 1 point to get an A. But you have professors who will put their hand into their pocket and then open, the pocket and say, where is the one? I can't find any one. There's no one anywhere because the one is a percentage of something. Now, if you look at political polls, CNN, BBC, they would do it and say that the margin of error, because anytime we sample population, there's a margin of error. We are 4 here sitting. If we pick 2 people to talk to, then we are going to have margin of error because the other 2 were not talked to. But always statistically, you have to get plus or minus 3. Now, if you look at 49% that Nanado had continuously, plus or minus 3, plus 3 is 47, plus 3 is 50%. That means it is going to a rerun. And remember, Nanado had a rerun with Professor Mills.
Yeah, 2008. And
Professor Mills in 2008 beat Nanado only by 40,000 votes, 0.04%. Yeah. So you can't compare that performance to what Bawumia had. So he's trying hard to justify some figures. Sometimes you can massage the figures, but it doesn't click. And that is what you should know. We both talk about marketability, the market, and then the product. Yes, I think that I will not say that he's a bad product for a good market. I don't want to say that because I want to be cautious. I believe because of how hard I've worked in life, you have to respect people's integrity and what they, so I don't like people who attack others' personality. Let's talk about the issues and the policies. Yeah. But there's something called in politics likability. And it seems that his likability has dwindled so low that people don't like him because the failure of the party, it was a political party failure. And he was a pivotal part of that political party at that time. So now it's like you are going back to chess game, using the same person, and what help is that going to bring? But there was also another issue of metacognition, thinking the thought. The way he said some things, and I've heard him saying that if he knew, he wouldn't have said some of the things that he said. The same thing applies to Kenneth Japan. Some of the things that he said in the media, insulting women and all those things, if he knew he was going to contest, he wouldn't have. But Brian and Dr. Duchum were measured. They knew all along that they were going to contest. So they were very careful in whatever they say. So if you go back and Google them, social media does not forget. If you go back and Google them, it's like they've sealed most of the things that they did when they were young. And now you can't find anything apart from, the sins that you both talked about. But I think their sins cannot be forgiven. Or maybe Jesus time you tell them that your sins are forgiven, but go and sin no more. That is beyond my paycheck. And moving forward, we have to know that Bawumia is going to be difficult for him to win. I believe that even after forcing, when he contests Bawumia, he will win. Because if you compare Ato Force's economy now with when Bawumia was, the leader of the economic management team, and what happened there, and the cedi and the dollar and the inflation rate, definitely on that level of economics, even Ato Force will beat Bawumia. So MPP have a lot of work to do, and they will do everything to bring Bawumia, but I am not buying into the fact that he will win in 2028. And that sway into NDC to the candidate that NDC bring. I pray that NDC will have that succession plan to get somebody, to be groomed so that that person will take over. But I've also seen a lot of, dynamics being played here. And I like the words of a Chairman General saying that anybody who bring their head that they are going to run will be a distraction. Let's all support. So that is collective success, which is more important. The group success is more important than the individual success. And that is the approach that the NDC have taken. That let's all work together collectively to build a system for John Mahama so that when John Mahama is successful, anybody that NDC bring, it will be easy for that person to win 2028. Okay. And I think that's a good strategy.
Let's do some messages before we come to Honorable on the other side. Musa Batwa in Asawasi, you say that out of the 5 presidential candidates, it is clear that only 2 have the credibility to contest. You cannot commit crimes against the state and still have the audacity to seek the highest office. The shocking part is that they are even accusing each other, exposing the death of their own unforgivable sins there. And you make reference that the exception you said, Kwabene Japan and Educhum. Those are the exceptions that you make reference to. Kwablavi from Pokwase Benghazi, you say that whether Dr. Bawumia, Kennedy Japan, or Brian Achiampong, Ghanaians won't vote for any of them to become president of Ghana because they were all part of Akufo-Addo's government that destroyed Ghana. Okay, so that is your message there. Let me come to Honorable now. And Honorable, There are those who say that the NDC, you are going into the elections, you will not have the John Mahama factor, as in the candidate. Yeah. You'll be presenting a new candidate for the first time in a very long time. You'll be presenting someone that has not been part of any of your tickets. That's what you have to, unless maybe the vice president who was on the ticket previously. If not Prof, it means that you have a new face. And Dr. Bawumia, some would argue that, well, may have a bit of a marketability advantage to the extent that he has toured the entire country multiple times as a flag bearer candidate. I mean, that's a very, with the greatest of respect, a very little argument, if I want to be very charitable. Demonstrate why it's little. Demonstrate why. It's a matter of fact that minus Professor Nana Jane, whoever you will bring, would not have campaigned as flag bearer before. You agree with that? Again, that's a fact. That's a fact. Okay, good. Yeah. Yes. But to make that argument will be very little in our political. Yeah, go ahead and explain that. The product we're marketing is not the individual entirely. It is the party we're presenting to the Ghanaian people to vote for. We're having the NDC as a party, and we have the MPP as a party, and so forth and so on. And so it is the product that, we're presenting. And so if, like his General Siedu said, Nketia said, if we're able to have His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to succeed, and fact that he's succeeding successfully in his, administration, as you see now, everything is actually, working well for the Ghanaian people. Of course, when we get there, whoever comes and run in the tickets of the party that succeeded in putting good food in the Ghanaians' table, will be looked at. Yes, Mahamudu Bawumia might have gone round campaigning, but what did he campaign with? My name is Vondi, is an Ewe name. Vondi means that bad news sells most. You can go around and be selling bad news, so it doesn't mean you've gone round. People will be having your T-shirt, but they will still know. Exactly, and that is what happened in his own, hometown, where many polling stations would have to get zero, where he was having party, executives. Okay. So that's the issue. So for him, look, if you are taking Mahamudu Bawumia, you're talking about individual. Let me give you another fact, whether that changes your mind. We've not had a candidate join the ticket first time and pick it up. Yes, I agree with you. But you see, it is not about joining. That should be of concern. No. That is not about it. Again, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama joined the ticket the first time and won it as vice president. He won it. He had been on the ticket previously. During the unfortunate demise of His Excellency. Yes, but he had previously been vice president. He became president, on that, and became, of course, as a vice president. And he won it first time, being on the ticket first time. He won it. So anybody can be on the ticket first time and win it. No, in terms of the person is credible. Participation, because if the current vice president is not contesting, it means that... Again, I have not said... Okay. I'm assuming. I'm just assuming. That we are only assuming that, so the point is that let's allow... It's the MPP that have an issue we're talking about now. Let's talk about them. Our time will come and we'll elect a very good... No, but in the context of... we are discussing your party because you'll be up. What is happening internally in the MPP is of concern to you. Yes, absolutely. We're watching them with eagle eye. So point is, the Mahamudu Bawumia factor in the MPP, I don't want to advise them because the more they make mistakes. That's my advantage, and that's what I always want. But you see, the Mahamudu Bawumia factor in the MPP is only going to drown the party MPP the more. Okay? And when you see this, people think that because the NDC is worried about Mahamudu Bawumia's factor. But that's our joy, that the MPP will bring Bawumia again. And I know they will. They will. And that, because if you look at everything that they are doing, the way they are, presenting the timing of their election and everything is to tell you that they all want Bawumia to come again. They have in their mind about these, he never came first and win before thing. And I think that this time around they've gotten it wrong because it depends on the product you're selling. Because if the product is not good, it can never be good for the market anyway. So the point is they should go ahead and elect Mahamudu Bawumia. This is a gentleman who said many things about our economy.
And this is a gentleman who ran the economy down. Look at Atuforsen, like he was saying. You know, I've not heard from Atuforsen whether he's contesting or not. You know, I've not heard any.
So far, we've seen names like Julius Debra. We've heard of the national chairman, Johnson Esiedin Ketia.
If you want us to,
which other names have you heard?
If you want us to, I know, of course,
Haruna Idrisu.
We've heard about Haruna Idrisu,
Okay.
but these are not individuals who've made statement themselves.
Yes, to be fair, yeah, no one has done that. Yeah.
Make statement themselves to say that we are contesting. But these are the rumors that people are picking up, looking at the terrain, looking at the political space. These are people that, you know, individuals are suggesting that may be contesting. But be it as it may, but let's look at even these individuals if they are contesting and you want to match them against Bawumia. Really, would Bawumia get even the figure he got against His Excellency Mahama? Look at it. Take, Atuforsen, for example. Assuming Atuforsen want to contest this election, which platform would Bawumia contest Atuforsen? Would it be about the city stability? Would it be about inflation rate? Would it be about keeping promises? What exactly would he contest Atuforsen with? Take Haruna Idrisu, my own boss, for example. You know, where would Bawumia stand to contest, Haruna Idrisu? The the chairman general himself, the political, so the point is, the chief of staff, Julius Debra, a very good friend of mine who is so nice person, very quiet, very articulate, very nice person, interpersonal skills, everything you want to say about the chief of staff, very good things. Where would he stand? So the point I'm making to you is that it is not about the party, the individual per se, it is about the party. We're talking about a party that destroyed our nation, a party that took Ghana back. So the point is, why would anybody be thinking about the MPP? They should go and do their own thing. And then they and again, you see, they are giving us so much. They are giving us so much, ammunition, right?
They are destroying their own party.
Every day, any of them opens their mouth, they fight against themselves. It is about either they are accusing each other about corruption. It's either they are accusing each other about who stole the ammunitions and sent it to the north for fighting, who took what money from Ghana and is ready to disclose who took money from Ghana and all that. So they are just exposing themselves. We are waiting for them. God is not bad to give us such persons to come and rule Ghana again. It will not happen. But you see, my concern is about what's the name of your movement? Movement for Change.
Yeah.
My concern.
Soon to become a political party.
My concern is that, look, Alan Kojo Tremantin, I met him when Otumfuo was launching his Good Coin. I was invited by Otumfuo to attend that program. I was so happy that Otumfuo could invite me. That was nice. I met him. He's a very nice person. Very nice person. His communication skills when he meets you, very excellent. A person that you can feel some leadership qualities in him. What he would have done, even with all the mafia that went against him, he would have stayed in the party. Today would have been the one winning this election hands down. Unfortunately, he lost that opportunity.
The party has...
he lost that opportunity.
The party has invited all of them to come
back. That invitation is a trap. And Alan coming back will be, with the greatest of respect, will be as useless as anything.
Okay.
Coming back.
But this is not the MPP.
I thought
this is not the MPP.
He lost the opportunity. Otherwise, everybody knew that after Akufo-Addo, it was going to be Alan. Unfortunately, he lost the opportunity. Maybe a little temperament control would have worked, unfortunately.
You see,
but this is MPP. All of them are from the same party.
You see, when the environment is dirty and you're a clean person, you don't stay.
Anyway,
you try to clean up as well.
When you have made effort to clean up, you see,
so
and they are not cleaning.
Hold on. That comes to the point again that if you're not able to clean your own party, if you are not able to clean your own party, very small party, I wonder how you're going to clean the entire country.
No. It's about principles. It's about principles and values.
But there was
if you are a principled person and you have values and you know that something that is being done is not good, you leave.
Stay aside.
You leave.
You leave.
Yeah.
So for me, allow Bawumia and his people to go and play. And
no, they are going to cook it for him. You call it a play?
Well, yes, of course.
They are going to cook it for him.
Joke. I mean, it is a joke.
Is it a child play or adult play?
They will allow Bawumia. Look, even they are registered that they are going to use to have these elections. If you had the elections from bottom to the top, you would have had a credible, register that you are going to use to have this election. But how are you going to fill in people who are ill, who are traveled,
who are dead?
Who are dead?
They are filling.
Yeah. And it is the Bawumia boys that are writing some names because they want to win. Bring Bawumia, we'll deal with him, and that's all we want.
The elections committee of the party, they have assured of a fair process for everyone.
They say that all the time.
I mean, yeah. Let me wrap up with Dr. Fee on Zoom. Doc, final words.
Yes, what I would like to say is that we will all be looking and also monitoring the election, and we hope and pray that they will you use the word common sense will reign, not insulting anyone, but they will try to play their cards well by what they say, because it seems that personal attacks is what is going on. And if they are not careful, what happened in 2024, what the NDC used against them will come back, and that one will be more damaging than the 2024 election. So they have to be very cautious about that, and also to ensure that there's fairness in what process that they go through. And we hope and pray that they will come out with what they want delegates and Ghanaians want to hear from them. We are waiting patiently, and I believe that we wish them well, and also are waiting for the NDC to also select. And I know that these two candidates will be, that is the Chief of Staff and the Chairman, Isiedun Ketia. And we are all waiting for political commentators to also get on board and discuss to have an interesting 2028 elections and political event in this country. So I wish them well, and we hope that they will come out credibly and to let our political discourse be so interesting for the days ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Doc. Dr. Samuel Efriye is a political analyst. He joined us for this segment of the show. Those who join me in the studio as well, David Vondi, SDMP for Trifu Ati Mokwa, also a Bobakman, a former member of the MPP, senior communicator, Movement for Change, and Prof as well, Professor Enoch Opokwentri, a governance expert and policy analyst. Anytime Prof is on, the kind of messages I get, and one of these days, those of you who send a message, I'll just forward them to Prof.
Likability, right?
I'm telling you, Prof. The girls, messages all over.
Prof always looks young.
I'm telling you.
I'm 50. I am 50.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
So,
yes.
So you heard from Prof there, but you heard his reaction to the girls.
Killing you.
I'm told that is Prof there joining us. Thank you all so much for tuning in. All those who sent your messages as well. Lots of your messages on the Facebook platform. The show is not over yet. We still have a lot more for you. Just stay tuned in. But just before we go for a quick break, if you want to look smart and fashionable, visit any Woodin boutique nationwide today. Woodin offers an amazing collection of authentic African fabrics ready to wear that come in beautiful designs and colors for men and women. With Woodin, you can get creative and versatile with your designs. Be confident and show off how truly African you are in Woodin. Go to a Woodin boutique near you today and choose from a variety of trendy products to complement your unique style. You can follow Woodin Fashion on Facebook, Instagram at Woodin Fashion, and TikTok at Woodin_fashion as well. And so that is some good news that we have for you in terms of a product that you can subscribe to. Stay tuned in, the show continues.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house.